I forgot I ordered this piece of garbage. Woo! Look what I have, guys! I have a HyperScan! And this should be new in the box? One HyperScan video game console, one controller designed for comfort and precision, one X-Men video game disc, 6 X-Men game cards. Scan, battle, rescan cards to add power and customize your game. Yeah, these are like really hard to get at a good price, and I was looking at eBay, and they were all like, you just could not get good deals on these things, complete in box and everything. So I ended up finding one on Amazon, and it was like, the description made it look like it was new. And so I went ahead and jumped on it. It was probably like 80 bucks, which is, just the thought of having to spend that is ridiculous, right? But I was like, if I'm ever going to own one of these, it's going to be right now for 80 as opposed to 10 years from now for 200 and up. Because that's just the way everything's moving, and it sucks. Yeah, I ordered so much stuff, I wasn't sure what this could be, and I totally forgot I ordered the HyperScan. Totally forgot. Oh man, this is complex packaging. Man, this is really complex. Alright. Alright guys, I lied. We're just gonna play HyperScan tonight. Sega Saturn be damned. No, we're actually not going to play this. I only have one game. I don't really intend on buying any of the others unless I can find good deals on them. And actually, I don't even need to buy the games. The big issue with the HyperScan I read is that you have to have cards in order to play the games, and there's only 5 games in the system, but the cards get really expensive because that's the collectible aspect. And apparently this reads CDRs just fine, so I could actually just burn ISOs of the games, but you can't even play any of the games without cards. The HyperScan itself, as far as like a platform running, it's like an ARM-based CPU. I think it runs around 100 megahertz. And when you're looking at like GBA style or like 16-bit style gaming, it seems capable enough, but the devs, from what I can tell, just were not very good, and they weren't able to make much use of the hardware. The games are kind of choppy. Yeah, it's got this custom like S-Video style port for the controller. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I was actually doing some reading on this thing last week, Ronnie, and yeah, no one's actually figured out a way to copy the cards. That's why, oh man, this thing is such a pain in the ass to even try to collect for, because the cards are rare and no one's found a way to copy them. Holy shit, it's like an analog stick. There's not even a D-pad on it. Oh man, this controller is kinda... Man, I don't know. Buttons are kind of gummy. These top triggers are super awkward. Very uncomfortable, but there are back triggers that are a little bit better. Man. Yeah, I can't believe there's no D-pad. Wow. From the same people that brought you the Intellivision. Yeah, these are my X-Men cards. I feel like I should leave a lot of this in the box. I don't want it just out and about. Here's the console itself. Yeah, and Leo, there are homebrews for it, but they're all just like demos, like tech demos. None of them are actual like playable games. There's one that's like a color test, and another one that's like it might be like a scrolling test, and oh man, this tape is gonna tape. That makes no sense. Oh yeah, and this thing's composite only as well. Oh, Jesus, man. This is completely just tied to it. Yeah, like the video cables are not even modular. They're actually... Wow. Yeah, so here's the console. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Don't get me wrong. Power buttons on the side. I guess those are the controller ports as well. Yeah, power is at least not hardwired. Same with USB. As far as I'm aware, there were no USB accessories for this. Yeah, so CD-ROM drive right here. Close it. And then that's where you scan your cards. And then when you're done, you just... I mean, the cool thing about having this is at least now I have hands-on experience with this dumb thing. It does feel kind of cool, but it's a shame that like the software is just horrid bad. And looks like that's the power cable. You know, I almost feel like just like packing this all back up because right now I only have one game and I need more cards, so I'm going to play the other games. But no, I do need to use it. I need to test it to make sure it works. And, you know, yeah, so I'll just leave this stuff out. Just a generic power adapter. It doesn't say HyperScan on it or anything. I wasn't even drunk when I bought this, by the way. I actually wasn't drunk when I bought any of this stuff, surprisingly. Oh man, no, this is gonna be like the GameCube, where I have no idea how to get this thing back together. Oh, it's probably like that. Maybe. Sorta, kinda, not really. Yeah, it's been a weird few weeks, Ronnie. So, like, with the severance pay and all that stuff, I've been constantly looking for, like, stuff to potentially buy that, I've wanted to add to my collection, like, hardware-wise. And, I'm looking at everything, and it's like, everything is so fucking expensive now. And, like, the things, like, I could add to my collection, I've just... It's like, man, it's really hard to justify that. And then so I started looking at other derpy things, like the HyperScan, and I was looking at an Apple Pippin again, and stuff like that. Like, the Pippin is like $700 or $800 now. I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. You know, stuff like that. And so I started getting into, like, even more obscure territory, like the HyperScan, and, dude, I really have no idea how this packaging goes. Yeah, I was looking at the HyperScan, I was looking at, man, what else was I looking at? PCFX. I do actually legitimately want a PCFX, and that is something I might actually end up buying sooner rather than later. They're like $300, which is still really expensive, but it's way more doable than Bandai Apple Pippin for $800. Yeah, so that's how I got led down the path of something like the HyperScan. I was just like, well, I don't have it, and I collect hardware, so, you know, here we are. Yeah, I seriously have no idea how I'm going to get all this crap back in here. I mean, I feel like this is going to work, but it's not how it came packaged. Like, if I ever want to put the controller back in here, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do that along with the console. I did actually look up the Casio Loopy, and I also looked up the Bandai Playdia. But then I found out that the Playdia was pretty much just a kid's console, and there were no, like, real normal games on it. It's all just, like, full motion video educational stuff. Yeah, I mean, I was getting desperate. I was like, man, what else do I not have that I could buy that's, like, under $100, you know? Wow, these are really thick cards. Holy shit. Damn. Check that out. I thought they were just, like, plain cards, you know? This is, like, at least 4 or 5 plain cards. That's how thick it is. Maybe thicker. Now, I'm not against, like, having dumb systems as long as, like, there's some kind of use case scenario. In the HyperScan, you can barely argue, like, a use case scenario. Like, I looked at all the games, and, like, you know, I could see myself forcing myself through a couple of them on stream. But for the most part, you know, a lot of the games are just kind of nearly unplayable, you know, garbage. Something like the Casio Loopy, though, like, there's, like, literally, like, no normal game that I would want to play. And so I can't justify owning it. It would just be taking up space. Especially for the price, you know, it would probably be $200. But like something like the Bandai Apple Pippin, I could see myself having it again because I would stream it more than once, and it's got a handful of games on it that I do actually legitimately enjoy. You know, so, but I don't want to start collecting stuff that I have literally just for collecting. Like I have to be able to at least stream it. And find some kind of personal enjoyment in it, and when it's just all kids games or kids educational stuff, yeah, that doesn't fit that bill, unfortunately. So I can't justify buying it and just having to take up space in my closet. Space is kind of at a premium right now, anyway. Thankfully, the HyperScan is not that big. This isn't like the Apple Pippin. It's like in a box. It's almost the size of this fucking TV. Trying to figure out how to get this stuff in here without like damaging anything. There we go. Alright. Well, I figured it out. This is most certainly not how the packaging came. Yeah, I can't even put like the I can't even put this in here. Oh, what a terrible... what a terrible design. Look at that. It's just, it's hardwired. I mean, I might be able to finagle this in here some other time. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just gonna leave it out. With its hookups and everything. I'll put X-Men and, well, actually, no, I'll leave X-Men and the cards out. Well, that was a fun surprise, guys. Oh man, that's great. All right, let's put this over here. Yeah, this, you know, I'm usually pretty forgiving about controllers, but man, this controller is not good. Analog stick for 2D games. Triggers that look like analog triggers, but they're not. Very spongy face buttons. People bitch about the Jaguar controller, jeez. Controller that is useful and comfortable. It's like, hey guys, you want to really bitch about something? Use a HyperScan controller. Come back to me after you've done that.